Welcome back to another DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with my co-host, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, and Bad Chaz, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. All right, fellas. Well, welcome back, man.
What's
How you guys
doing? Pretty good. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing all right, man. I had a nice weekend. I had those of you that don't know, I also play in a band called Good Goes Away, and my brother from another mother, Adam McCabe, came by, who was part of the band as well. He came over, and during the weekend we wrote 10 new musical ideas for our next album that will come out later on. So he also helped me with I showed him my camera settings, and I'm hoping he showed me a couple of settings. So hopefully visually it should be about 33% better for you guys. For you guys, visual pleasure.
Yeah, cool.
How was you guys this weekend, man?
You know what? It's just always busy, man. I got all the kiddos running around.
Yeah, right.
You know, I remember one time I seen this lady, and she had her kids on a leash, and I was just thinking, like, that's just the craziest thing. But then I'm like, it all makes sense to me. One of my boys runs this way, the other runs that way, and it's like that leash just clicked in my head. So I'm looking for a leash for my kids right now.
That's a good idea, bro.
What about you guys? How was yours?
Oh, it's pretty good, man. You know, watched the fights and had like a little family barbecue and stuff, and just good little get together. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I've seen the podcast, and all of a sudden I'm this little star and stuff. So I'm just like, all right, Bad Chaz. Everybody's calling me Bad Chaz. But you know what? It was good, and I'm glad we're getting some viewers, and people like the show, and everybody's becoming more knowledgeable just based on the content we're providing.
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, man. Well, I'm happy to hear all that, man. All right, well, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into our fight review. This was a card from Top Rank. We'll start with they actually had a lot of heavyweight prospects on this card. We'll start off with Efe Ajagba versus Jozsef Darmos. Efe Ajagba scores a TKO 2 over Darmos. Really not much competition for Ajagba, right?
No, there wasn't. You know what? That was what was it? I think it was scheduled for an 8-round fight.
Some 8 rounds.
Okay, based on the two fighters, the Efe, he was a taller, more athletic build. Almost looked like he was in a different class, but sometimes that doesn't matter. It's boxing, but he was able to get the knockout in the second round. It looked like it was like a number 2 hand to the body.
It's like a hook to the head. Referee seen enough. What I liked was Ajagba did everything behind the jab, which was great. He worked them for those 2 rounds. Hit the body and then hit the head. But Darmos was just not up to the task of taking anything.
Maybe a little lack of conditioning or something.
For sure.
Well, a lot of times like these because Ajagba's an Olympian. So I mean he has a great pedigree, but at the same time like he gets thrown in there with these guys that just don't have those skills. So a lot of times I felt like this fight he played down a little bit to his competition, and I've seen him in other fights where he's just throwing more, he's more like just aggressive. In this fight, he just kind of I guess waited for the fight to come to him.
Right. He took what Darmos gave him as long as he could, as long as he could go the fight. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Instead of blasting him out of there real quick, he kind of just worked on
So it's hard for him to show his skills. It's hard for him to like.
Well, he was coming off a loss to Frank Sanchez where he did step up. So this is kind of a comeback, confidence builder. Yeah. So
I can see that.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Good work for Ajagba. Hopefully, we'd like to see him back soon.
Yeah. Maybe he deserves more, a little more reputable name and stuff. For
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Also on the card, we had 2020 Olympic silver medalist, none other than Tulsa's own Richard Torrez Jr. He took on Marco Antonio Canedo and delivered a spectacular 1-round knockout, guys. How'd you see that, Ryan?
God, man, it was just a brutal shot. Well, actually, a few shots.
Right, yeah.
Richard Torrez has that quality that I like to call controlled aggression.
Yeah.
I don't see very many fighters that have it, but when they do, man, it's scary. And that was a scary sight to see, after he got knocked down the first time, I just kind of figured like, oh man, it's just
matter of time.
A matter of time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then he delivered those 3 blows consecutively to the head.
He scored 3 knockouts.
Oh man! Right there. And then when he fell to the ground and he was just motionless like that, I mean, it was just like we were all just quiet at the house, like just waiting for him to just revive himself. But it was scary. But Richard Torrez, I mean, you know, like you don't ever want to take your foot off the pedal because once you do, you're going to be on the other side of those blows.
Yeah, you know, and he's new too, you know, so he wants to get a nice clean victory. He wants to pave that path for himself, you know what I mean? So, you know, and he did it. I hope that the other guy's okay and stuff.
Yeah, we hope Canedo is okay.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
It was.
Yeah, you're right. This is only Richard Torres' third bout. You know, you'll say, well, you know, maybe step up the competition, but you know, it's only his third bout.
Yeah,
he's looking good. Spectacular KO. You know, and that's what you want to get traction behind a fighter. Yeah, I mean, that was a great win, spectacular win. Like I said, man, he like scored 3 knockouts.
Yeah.
It was like he was out that shot, he was out that shot, and he was out that shot, and
yeah,
it was over. He was over. It was over. Yeah, man. So good win, Richard Torres. Excellent win. All right. They also on the card they featured top prospect 12-0, 12 KOs now. Jared Anderson. He took on Miljan Rovcanin and scored a second round knockout. Chaz, how'd you see it?
Oh man, Jared Anderson. He's just athletic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see that in every other fight before, and he showed it to the other day. He started off in a southpaw stance, and I think he switched over to orthodox to kind of work in his favor.
He's working both
you were right. He has both stances. I remember you saying that the last time.
Yeah. It just seemed like, you know what I mean? Like by the second round, he took control of the fight. I think I seen him kind of doing a little more jab to the body, and then, you know, he took over and then ended the fight by the second round.
Yeah. Yep. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's all she wrote.
Yeah,
it was a quick night. You know what I mean? Like all the those fights before, those heavyweight fights, like they all you know, first, second round knockouts.
Yeah.
And then you know,
I noticed with Jared Anderson too, though, he just had this like confidence.
Yeah.
Like
no worries.
Yeah, just like, you know, he was just like had it like kind of like on cruise control and just, you know, like he knew that he was gonna get that guy out of there, but. Man, I want to kind of see him, like, see how he progresses. See, you know, he steps up his competition
Later rounds. See what he acts like in later rounds.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to go a little bit further and just see what, you know, like just test his potential.
With any prospect, that's what we're all eager to see, you know, them see what they feel like.
So
they look like later
you're right,
on.
because when they knock him out, you know, in 1 or 2 rounds, it's hard to like, you know, like build an opinion on these guys. Yeah, they're knocking everybody out, but like you want to see them kind of go some later rounds too.
Yeah, for sure.
See how that conditioning holds up. You see how that power holds up. Because a lot of that stuff fades towards the end of the rounds. You know?
Absolutely agree. Well, Top Rank, you know, they're matching them as they see fit. So hopefully next time we see them, they'll ump the competition, and we'll get a few more rounds out of these nice top heavyweight prospects.
For sure.
All right, guys, moving on to the main event of the Top Rank card. We saw Jose Pedraza go against Richard Commey, both of them coming off of losses. The winner advances or prolongs his career. The loser really becomes a stepping stone, right?
Yeah, and a gatekeeper.
And a gatekeeper. So they fought each other to a 10-round draw, split draw, guys.
Yeah.
How'd you see that, man? I mean,
you
did
know
you
what,
agree with that decision?
You know what? I want to say Pedraza, I felt like just edged him just a little bit. But I mean, before the fight, I kind of seen it as like a 50-50 fight. It was hard to say like who had the advantages and stuff. But with Pedraza, I felt like Commey came out with pressure right away. He was just stalking him. And then you had Pedraza, who was just kind of like holding him off until Commey somewhat like, you know, kind of like took some of his shots and kind of backed off. But what I like with Pedraza, he started going to the body and it slowed Commey down a lot. Sure, But I think what was the game changer in that fight was that there was a headbutt and there was a clash of heads and it opened up Commey. So after that, I noticed Commey just kind of like wiping the blood out of his eyes, you know, second guessing his punches. You know, Pedraza started, you know, like pawing at that eye. So he played it smart. I mean, that was just a veteran move.
Yeah.
But rounds kind of went back and forth. I felt like Commey took control of that fight maybe for the first 4 or 5 rounds. And then Pedraza, like, I just want to say after that, he just stepped up and just took it to Commey. So I want to say I had Pedraza winning that fight, but at the same time, I'm not mad with the draw.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. They put on a great show, and, you know, they made my day with that fight, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost like Pedraza would win a round and then Commey would win a round. And then Pedraza would win a round and then Commey would win a round.
Well, I felt like Commey won the earlier rounds and Pedraza won the later rounds. That's how I felt.
Yeah, and I see that too. I was like, man, Commey actually going to pull this off. But then in the 9th and 10th, I saw Pedraza pick it up with his boxing and taking it to Commey. And I think that's where he like you said, he's got that draw or potential win. But I was disappointed in the draw. I mean, everybody's always disappointed when there's a draw, when there's no.
Especially when you fight that hard, and those two knew what was on the line, and they gave it their all. I felt, and it's sad to see a draw because you want a winner when a.
So is that a rematch ahead?
I don't
know.
So,
hey,
man.
I think. Well, in my opinion, I think Top Rank knows what they're doing, right? Like I said, the loser was going to be off.
Well, that's the thing. The loser. I'm sorry. The winner was supposed to fight Teofimo.
Right.
And
so now they're still both relevant with the draw, right?
Yeah,
Nobody
I guess
lost.
so.
Nobody can say I didn't lose.
Yeah, that's true.
Lose. So maybe I don't know. Maybe Top Rank had something to do with that draw there. But good fight, good scrap. Rematch? You think?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Do I want to? I don't know if I want to see that.
Yeah, same here. Like I think they earned a shot to fight somebody else.
Yeah,
like
they're both going to be names for a Teofimo or rematch with Teofimo or those names Ramirez 140. So they remain relevant with their name because both of them didn't lose. So cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, excellent review of the fights. All right, guys. Well, it's fight week. All right, guys. Well, we had the return of 154-pounder Liam Smith taking on Hassan Mwakinyo on a Sky Sports fight card. That'll be the main event there. Liam Smith is just still fighting, trying to get into the shot at the title at the 154-pound division. His claim to fame was fighting Canelo Alvarez, getting stopped by Canelo. I believe he is a former titleist at 154, so he's still trying to remain relevant to maybe get a shot at the undisputed champ, Jermell Charlo. So we'll see how he does on Saturday. I mean, I'm not too knowledgeable on what his opponent brings to the table on Saturday. Does any of you guys?
No, I
does that ring a name for you guys?
I don't.
Yeah. So Liam Smith, if you guys want to tune into Sky Sports, he will headline that card.
He did kind of have a big win over Jesse Vargas.
That's right. That's his last win.
And Jesse Vargas.
That was a good slugfest, actually.
Yeah. Jesse Vargas went the distance with Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
And Mikey Garcia was still looking good at the time. So, I mean, we'll see. I thought Liam Smith took it.
So who do you
to
think
him.
wins this fight? I mean,
I'll
based
go with
on
Liam Smith.
Yeah, I go with Liam Smith as well.
That's kind of the way I'm leaning too. I mean, you got Liam Smith. He probably trains with his brother Callum. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He spars good stock.
Caliber.
He's got Canelo under his belt.
Yeah.
He came off of the Vargas fight. I kind of see it going that way. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, this guy could have something in the bag we're not aware of, and it could turn out to be a great fight.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. It's not like Liam Smith is a world beater, so I'm sure if Hassan has something to prove, he'll bring it that night. Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's move on to the DAZN card that will also be on Saturday, September 3rd. And it'll feature main event Juan Francisco Estrada versus Argi Cortes. Estrada coming from his big win over Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, which was about over a year ago.
Yeah.
Tell us more about Estrada, Ryan.
You know what? I just feel like, man, he's just lightning quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This kid does not stop. He smothers you and punch. I can't even tell you what kind of style he has. All I know is that he's fast and he doesn't stop. So you're just getting smothered with punches before you can develop any type of rhythm or game plan. You're just looking just to survive. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the only thing you can really do is counter punch with him and, like maybe work his body a little bit. But, I mean, he's been on a little run. He's been on a tear. I know he lost to Sor Rungvisai, and that was for a title. He ended up rematching Sor Rungvisai and ended up beating him unanimously.
Nice.
And it was just a beatdown. You know what I mean? He just looked great. So, I mean, he's been on an 18-month or a little over a year layoff.
Over a year layoff, yes.
So we'll see how he comes back. The whole COVID thing, he got a fight and then he got sick and then I think somebody pulled out. But this guy that he's fighting, I'm not exactly sure who he is and
what kind of a test
he
brings.
I think it's just a bounce back fight just to get him to fight some of those bigger names in this division.
More of a rematch with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez because that was also a tight one that could have gone either way.
Yes,
or which I would love to see with Bam Rodriguez.
Ooh, man,
right? Bam Rodriguez, that would be a
and then
awesome
also. Bam Rodriguez's brother, Joshua Franco, was supposed to fight him, but Estrada ended up vacating his title. So that's why he's fighting this guy. So actually, he's supposed to fight Bam's brother. Bam and Franco both have a title in the same division. So it's going to be interesting. That division's stacked.
Yeah, that's a nice
right now.
division to watch, yeah.
Yeah. It is
Definitely
Awesome.
the funnest.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. All right, moving on to the September 4th card. Yes, that'll be on the Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Fox pay-per-view. It'll be Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz on the main event. But there's a couple undercard fights that are worth mentioning.
Yeah.
We'll start with the return of Abner Mares. After a 4-year-plus layoff, he will be fighting Miguel Flores in a 10-rounder. Mares obviously coming, he had that 4-year layoff due to an eye retina issue, injury. And if I'm not mistaken, it happened right before he was supposed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, man. So that would have been a beauty if that happened.
Yeah.
But so he took that long layoff. I guess his eye is ready to receive some punches, and he's making his return on Sunday. What do you guys feel about that fight?
I think that's a long layoff. I feel like there's going to be some ring rust there, especially
for
against
sure,
this
for
youngster. I think there's a pretty big age gap. Miguel Flores, he had a good amateur career, and I feel like he's just going to kind of possibly go to the body and kind of just break him down, over the 10 rounds.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of hard to say because Abner's 36 years old.
Yeah, he's up there, right?
Miguel Flores is, I want to say, like in his early 30s, maybe late 20s, and he's been more active. And he's actually not a bad fighter.
Yeah.
So I mean, Abner might have his hands full, but I mean, we all know how good Abner is. When he was in his prime, he was,
He's really good.
Yeah. So
He's like a multiple division champion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's
was he
gonna be a
multiple
good test.
divisions?
I'm not sure. I don't
think
really
so.
follow his career more, but I just know he's kind of known for his fights with Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, but he
Nice
did. He
battles
was a
with,
world. He did have a world title, but
I think he defended. I think it might have been a couple, and then he defended one at one weight class.
He lost to Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
Leo
then-
Santa Cruz
right.
I want to say for the title.
Yeah,
okay.
So
I remember those fights. Those were nice.
He was an elite fighter, but I mean, this is hard to call. If anything, I would say Miguel Flores might have the edge because he's younger.
Because like I said, even 4 years ago when he was going to fight Tank Davis, I think they were just feeding him to Tank Davis. So 4 years later, man, I mean, if Miguel Flores, had a good training camp, and this is a winnable fight for Miguel.
Yeah, I think so
put
too.
that name under his resume.
Mm-hmm.
So. So it's tough. It's a pick 'em for me. I don't know who's gonna win that.
Yeah.
Those are the fights that I like to watch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because Abner is going to come in fighting. He's not
Yeah.
going to come in laying down.
Right.
Initially,
Yeah.
But the youngster's probably going to have his
Right,
energy
and
later.
then what happens once he gets touched? Again, 4 years out of the ring is
Yeah,
it's
I
no
mean, if
joke.
I was Flores, I'd just be targeting in that eye that was damaged.
Yeah.
That too, right? Yep.
And then he also has a bright future in commentating. He
right.
commentates
Is
for
his
shows.
heart fully in the
Yeah.
fight game? Good point. Yeah, because So Miguel, we might see Miguel Flores just
Shock Abner.
give Mares his last fight and then send him off to the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, gentlemen. All right. Co-main eventing this September 4th Sunday card is Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Eduardo Ramirez. This is 12 rounds for the WBC title eliminator.
Okay.
So very important fight.
Yeah, it is.
I love Pitbull Cruz, guys. What can you say? He's like a little mini Mike Tyson, like they say.
just
He
a
goes in
Mexican-
there. Yeah, he goes in
Mexican
there and
style.
throws those massive power hooks.
Comes
to the
forward.
head and body, comes forward.
Yeah.
And it's just relentless, guys.
He's hungry.
Solid chin on him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Eduardo Ramirez, you guys seen him fight before?
You know what? I haven't, but I know he beat Miguel Flores, the one that
Oh, that's going to
Abner's
fight
fighting.
Mares. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
that's good. That's
yeah,
a good
we'll
thing.
see. Maybe what fights first?
Both Mexican. Yes. Right. Yeah. Isaac Cruz, of course, coming off that controversial loss to Gervonta Davis. And then I think he picked up a win afterwards. So yeah, he's a good fighter, man.
Yeah, he fought Gamboa and man, took
that's
it to
right.
Gamboa.
That was his comeback.
Yeah.
He thrashed Gamboa, and
So I give the edge to Cruz.
Yeah, definitely
Same
looking
here.
for Cruz to stop Ramirez. Spectacular fashion.
You think it goes all 12 rounds right there? You think Cruz
I don't
stops
think
him
so.
before?
I don't think so. I
Yeah,
think
maybe
he'll stop
middle
him.
rounds.
About 8.
Yeah, maybe around there.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. And, well, that leads us to the main event. It is the return of Andy the Destroyer Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Andy Ruiz, guys, he hasn't fought, he's been really inactive, right?
Yeah, he has.
A little
He's
over
like
a year, was it?
more than a year. I think his last fight was in 2021, and before that was in 2019,
Joshua,
they lost to Joshua. So there's a lot of time in
Areola
between.
was his,
2021 fight.
He hurt,
and he got hurt by Areola.
Yeah.
Couple times. Too.
Areola was an older fighter too, and so was Luis.
Yeah, exactly.
Luis Ortiz. Yeah. So I mean, not all the time. Age isn't always the factor. You know what I mean? Like, but Andy surprised us with some of those punches. You know what that he landed on Joshua. And like,
Yeah, he's fast. He's fast.
Yeah.
I think he's the
puts his
fastest
combinations-
heavyweight. I think he's the fastest heavyweight in the
Putting the combinations together.
when Andy fought Areola, that was like his first fight when he had started with Canelo's camp.
Eddie Reynoso.
And he kind of made some adjustments. And,
and to point that out, in my opinion, I think with Reynoso, I think they try to make him look too much like a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Slimming down. I think his body type is what it is.
Yeah,
he's fluffy. Let him be fluffy. That's where he gets his power. And because his whole career, you look at his whole career, it's that pudgy, the pudgy look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why change it? I think that in my opinion, that affected his performance in that fight against Areola.
Okay.
I think taking off a lot of weight just could make someone weaker. Actually,
Yeah,
in my
I agree.
opinion, yeah.
I agree.
So I think he's no longer with Eddie Reynoso for this fight, and I think I haven't seen photos of him, but I think I don't think he trimmed down as low as that fight with Areola, but we'll see. I know he said he wants to bring back the gordito power back, so that'll help him. In my opinion, I'm like, go for it, man. Eat those tacos and throw those haymakers at Luis Ortiz. But on the other hand, guys, Luis Ortiz, his last fight was against Charles Martin.
Yeah.
Charles Martin, not a world beater. He looked pretty bad, guys. I don't know if you guys seen that fight. Charles Martin actually knocked down Luis Ortiz twice with a jab and kind of like punches that weren't solid. Just Ortiz's legs were just not there.
Yeah.
Just remember, he's been cracked twice by Deontay Wilder. And he's up there in age. So really, it's
like
you
a
want to say
50-50.
50-50? Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It's like who cracks whose chin
Exactly.
first.
Whoever gets touched first,
Yeah.
that's where the fight's gonna go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and Andy Ruiz, he's fast and he's the younger fighter.
Yeah.
But you seen him get hurt against Areola.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows? I mean,
And Luis Ortiz is a good boxer.
Exactly. I was about to say
boxer.
that. He's good. He's fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
And Ruiz, I mean, he's fast, but at the same time, I mean, is he gonna leave his chin exposed? Or?
Possibly, but he gets back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. He does.
gets back up.
Well, they both, Luis Ortiz obviously got back up against Charles Martin and defeated Charles Martin. But it's actually a fun one, man. It's gonna be a
I'm
fun
looking
one.
forward to it. It's a
forward to
pay-per-view too,
It's
so
a pay-per-view.
they know people are going to pay for this one.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday, guys.
Yeah,
Don't
it's a
forget.
Sunday.
Man. All right, let's see. What's your pick? Who are you picking?
I'm picking. I got to go with Ruiz because I want him to win.
Yeah.
So again, it's 50-50. So it's
Bad chance?
Ruiz.
Who you picking?
I'm gonna go with Andy Ruiz. Yeah,
Andy Ruiz,
Even if he
yeah.
falls to the mat, I feel like later
He'll get
on
up, right, he'll get up.
he's gonna take it over. He'll go the 12 rounds with them, and then
Yeah.
he'll win by decision or
wanna
if
say-
not, knock him down.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say Luis Ortiz, but no, man. I say Andy Ruiz is the fresher, I think. And like you mentioned, he has fast hands, and he'll probably get in those 1, 2, 3, 4 punches that Ortiz will not see, and hurt him and knock him out, and perhaps stop him within the 12 round.
And then also
the
too,
fight
this is
schedule.
kind of like an eliminator too, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because the winner of this might get a title shot.
Like you were saying,
I feel like
against
Ruiz is kind of using this as a fight to get it wilder.
Yeah,
possibly.
there you go. There
It's
you go.
kind of a little bit risky because Luis has been more active. recently. I think he fought like sometime this year. Ruiz went back further, like a little over a year. And then Luis is he's fought big names as well, and that's exactly why Ruiz wants to fight him so that he can get a shot at Wilder.
Yeah, right. Ruiz gets a nice victory
Yeah.
over Ortiz and say, "Oh, look at how Ruiz beat Ortiz."
He's building a
Look
nice
how
little
Deontay
package.
beat Ortiz.
Okay, so say that's the case, and Ruiz fights Wilder. The winner of that gets who? Fury
Title shot.
I mean,
for sure.
or Usyk?
Yeah, right.
That would be freaking.
I think I just gave my prediction on Usyk Fury.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely is honing down to a big Wilder Ruiz bout, which has been talked about for the past few years.
Well, even
Wow.
with this fight, Andy Ruiz and Ortiz have been talked about for a long time. I've been wanting to see this fight for a
that's
long
true.
time.
That's
You
true.
know, I wanted
brothers roll. How come Andy
Yeah.
Ruiz doesn't fight Luis Ortiz?
and that's Ruiz.
right.
I wanted Ruiz to fight Ortiz when he fought Areola, but I thought Areola was a
I like Ruiz, man. He takes chances. He fights anybody. He doesn't care if he has a loss on his record or whatever. He finds a way to push forward and get that next fight. Like,
I sure hope so.
I mean, he has a knockout power, man.
All this long inactivity will impact him. All right, guys. Well, good picks. We all picked Ruiz. We'll see what happens Sunday night.
Okay.
All right, guys. So this next segment I am calling "Draw Me a River." Draw me a river. Yes. We're gonna talk about big bouts that ended in a disappointing draw, guys. I don't know, like, besides like fights being stopped way too early by refs, I think the next disappointing aspect of boxing is when a big bout ends in a draw, no winners declared. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Especially when you felt fighter A clearly won, and then
all that anticipation, and that's how it ended, huh?
Right, a draw. Yeah, guys. So in this segment, each of us are going to bring up a big bout, describe to you, what happened in the fight, and obviously it ended in the draw. All right. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, what is your pick of the disappointing
you know what?
draw?
My biggest disappointment was Canelo Triple G, the first fight, obviously.
Canelo Triple G first fight. Okay. Okay.
And so, and I was looking forward to this fight this was one of my dream fights that I had in mind, right?
Where'd you watch it at?
Actually, I watched it in Las Vegas, man. We were supposed to actually go to the fight.
What?
Yeah. I took my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife.
Right.
We went to go watch Mana. So I was like, you know what? We'll get tickets to the fight, and
nice.
we'll
And that's a Mexican rock band, right?
Mana, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking, my wife was like, hey, well, let's get tickets to the fight now. And I'm like, no, we'll wait. They'll get cheaper, like, let's just wait and we'll get tickets there. Well, we tried to get tickets there and they were all sold out. And there was a few that were left, but man, they were just like crazy expensive. And I was just like, let's just, kind of hold off. We'll go watch it somewhere at a nice lounge or whatever. Well, anyway, we end up finding out that they don't have these fights like at lounges or anything. Like, they have these events to where, like, they're trying to make money. It's in Vegas. You either go to the fight or you go to this venue to pay big money to watch the fight. So I want to say it was MGM Grand, and they were viewing the fight like in their arena. So we ended up going and it was sold out.
Oh, no.
So we were like, and I'm looking at the time, I'm like, man, the undercard started, right. It's getting closer. Like, what are we going to do? So we called the next venue and they were sold out. And I think there was one more, but we were just like, like, it's all the way across town. Let's just call an Uber. Let's just go to the hotel and watch the fight. So we ended up calling an Uber and we're just kind of like, a little bummed out. I was bummed out. So as we're driving, the Uber driver's like, hey, what are you guys up to? Why are you guys here? Or whatever. And I'm just like, we were trying to watch the Canelo Triple G fight. I'm a huge Triple G fan and Canelo fan. And, we just kind of like, our luck wasn't on our side today.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I know this place that always, shows the fight, like, cool. You guys can definitely like go watch it there. And so I was like, yeah, dude, take us, like, please, like, get us there. The undercards are starting. We want to watch them. So, he kind of looks back at Myra and he goes, well, it's at a gentleman's club.
Oh, whoa. And
so I'm like confused, like thinking like, what is that? I've never heard of anything like that before, right? So
not me, huh?
So yeah. I'm straight as an arrow. You all guys know that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Myra's like, yeah, let's go. So we ended up going to the gentleman's club and we get escorted in by what I thought were actresses. So they take us in, right? And they take us to this VIP section. And then I didn't notice any...
You see Canelo?
I didn't notice any other, just normal people there. They were all either bartenders, security guards, or actresses, right?
Yeah.
So we go up and they set us in this VIP table and these girls start, like moving their bodies in interesting ways and, just started, kind of taking all the attention away from the TV.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, we ended up just, still staying glued to that TV. And then Canelo comes in with this ring walk. And then Triple G comes. And then, like, next thing we know, they're just out of the picture.
Yeah.
But so we end up getting to watch the fight, right?
Nice.
So
That's
I'm just
awesome,
like,
dude. What a great way to watch a historical fight, right?
Yeah, dude, it was cool.
Yeah.
So we ended up watching the fight and I just felt like Triple G was just mauling, like wanting just to maul Canelo. Like,
had that power.
I've never seen Canelo step back. I've never seen him like retreat from anybody. And I knew what Triple G was going to do. He was going to go in there and pressure Canelo. And he just kept shooting that jab, and then you know, like coming up with that right hook, and you know, that body work. I mean, Canelo had his moments, but at the same time, Triple G just kept pressuring.
Yeah, it was a close fight, but
it was.
Triple G had that power.
But Triple G just, I want to say, got the cleaner shots. He won most of the rounds. And then when they ended up having the decision, it was just crazy because one of the judges scored it. It was, what was it, 118 to 110
for Canelo.
For Canelo.
What fight were they watching, right?
So it was just like, what the heck's going on, you know? And and then one had it for Triple G, one had it for Canelo, and I had it 115, 113 Triple G. Yeah. But man, it was just a robbery, I thought.
And that third judge just scored it a draw.
It was,
and it became a split decision
You're right.
draw.
It was. So man, it was just a crazy night. I was so disappointed. I mean, we had a great time, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I was so anticipating that fight, and just the way it ended, it was just, I just still confused because I rewatched that fight and you know, I seen it 2 or 3 times, and I still see Triple G.
Yeah, he won that first fight, man. He definitely won that first fight.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this third fight, but honestly, I have Canelo winning the third fight. Yeah, I just think he's just a better fighter.
Yeah, time is not on Triple G's side for sure, bro. Yeah, what is it, like 4 or 5 years later?
But they say power is the last thing to leave. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll see if he can, you know, like keep up that stamina. Too.
If he's gonna do something, he better do it early. You know,
right? Yeah. Look forward to talking about that fight in a couple of weeks. Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing your Draw Me a River disappointing draw.
Yeah,
man.
Great story, by the way.
How that happened.
I'm sure you were just sad for like what, a minute.
Yeah. And then we go up to the 3rd floor where like the male actors are, and I have this guy Savage following me around. So I mean, yeah, dude. I guess the night got better.
Awesome, brother. Bad Chaz, you're up, man. What's a fight that really bummed you out, or really was
Draw Me a River? I'm gonna pick Fury versus Wilder, number 1.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah. That was a 12-round fight between Fury and Wilder. You know what? As the fight had started out, I felt like Fury did a really good boxing strategy. You know what I mean? You know, Wilder, he made a couple good connections and landed some good punches, you know, on Fury, but more often than not, he kind of missed. Fury would make him miss.
He was sticking out that jab. I remember him sticking out that jab and keeping Wilder off.
Yeah, doubled the
balance.
jab. Yeah. He didn't throw. He threw the jab twice, and you know, it's usually that second jab that came in that he was able to land. But you know, Fury was able to do the shoulder roll and kind of just do some good clean boxing and make the Wilder kind of miss and dodge and used the ring to his advantage and kind of circled around him and stuff. And then, you know, as the fight progressed, you know, Wilder snuck in. I want to say it was in the 9th and the 12th round, he knocked down Fury. And, you know, if you watch that fight, you better watch it closely because that would almost kind of throw you off. But if you score it
round by round,
Fury won, and I scored it, you know, 115 to 113.
For who?
For Fury to win.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it was close. But that's just what I seen. You know, if you guys seen something else, you know, you guys let us know in the comments. That would be great. But that's just kind of how I seen it. What do you guys think? What do you guys
I agree with you. I think Fury still pulled it out, even though being knocked down and that infamous Undertaker where he rises from the grave in the 12th round, amazing. He still got up to finish the fight, and I think he pulled it out because when you score a bout round by round, you know, you add up all those points, and you know, obviously whoever has the most points.
And it's just we're just happy that they didn't stop the fight.
Right. Jack Reese, legend, right?
Exactly, man. I that's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought as soon as he stood up, he was gonna be on wobbly legs, and they were just gonna call it. But no, he let it go on.
That's amazing.
And then the rest is history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Great boxing bout, man. That sadly ended up in a draw. Cool. Well, let's go with my pick, guys. Let's go back to 1993, where we had the undefeated Julio Cesar Chavez take on Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, guys. This was a bout between two of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boxing gloves, guys. Both guys were being named top pound for pound in the game during that time. So clearly the winner would be clearly the pound for pound champ at that time. Chavez was coming up in weight, and I believe they had a catch weight at 145 to challenge for Whitaker's WBC welterweight title belt. And this was held in San Antonio, Texas, in the Alamo Dome. What can I say, man? Chavez was a wrecking ball, man. He looked unbeatable, right? But he ran into the boxer that was not afraid of him, had the perfect game plan to nullify his aggression in the Pernell Whitaker, man. So the fight starts off, both styles mesh perfectly. It's like two bulls at the beginning as Whitaker tries to figure him out. Yeah. They're both asserting their advantages on each other. But by the third, fourth round, guys, the southpaw Pernell Whitaker starts staking that beautiful, beautiful right jab, boom, boom, just offsetting Chavez, or making him miss, like making him come short. Kind of like Navarrete was, like we talked about the last week. Beautiful, man. So he was just turning Chavez the whole night. Jab, body work, turning Chavez where he would be missing his shots, just kept him turning and turning. It was beautiful, man. By the late rounds, you had Whitaker up easily 10 rounds to 10 rounds to 2 is how I scored it. But by the end of the fight, as the judges or as the ring announcer read the scorecards, they had 115, 113, I believe, for Whitaker, and then 2 judges had it a draw. So the fight ended in a majority draw, and Chavez remained undefeated.
Wow.
Whitaker's biggest victory nullified. It'll go down in history as a draw.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you for bringing up that word because it was one of the biggest robberies in the history of the sport, guys. And me being a big Chavez fan as a kid watching that, I was like, I'm glad it was a draw. But now watching it now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, it's disgusting, man. I know. It was pretty gross, man. It was a robbery, man. And that was disappointing for sure. But you know what? Credit Whitaker. Now that I look back, he handled it like a champ, bro. Like he didn't go off and didn't lose his his wits about him. He just said, I'll leave it up to the people. The people will tell you who won.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that was awesome. Both legends. But yeah, that'll be my pick for Crimea River, man. That was a bad draw. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sharing your guys' stories with accompanied with those bouts that ended in a draw. That concludes our podcast, guys. Any shout outs that you guys want to give out?
Shout out to our cameraman Rob.
Yeah,
behind the scenes,
thank you, Rob.
Making it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank all the viewers that have been supporting us. Make sure to hit that like, guys. It helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Just hit that like and share the word, guys. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Ryan. So I am Coach D. This is neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, along with Bad Chaz, and we're out, guys.